guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Rady's Rides. We're back here in sunny San Diego, California, because guess what? We have the first drive of this vehicle right next to me. What is it? It's the updated 2025 Acura MDX, this being the A-Spec. But before we get into this sporty, mid-size, three-row crossover SUV from Acura, let's talk about what's going on here. Acura is bringing some changes, not only to the outside, but wait until I show you something new on the inside. But one thing to remember, there are some brands out there that are stepping it up a notch. One of those is Mazda. Very interesting, both Japanese brands, but Mazda's taking a non-conventional route. Instead of making a premium brand, because remember, Acura is the premium brand of Honda, they're just gonna bring some premium touches to their own brand. So if you've been with us here on Rady's Rides, which I know you have, you would know that Mazda has recently released the CX-90, which is also a three-row crossover SUV. So what I want to find out is, do you go with this changed up MDX A-Spec, or do you go with the Mazda CX-90? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our classic Acura color, one of my faves, Apex Blue MDX, and find out. Right off the bat, the color. It really fits the sportiness of the A-Spec, especially with all our blacked out accents. Now at the front of the business, the biggest change is gonna be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right down below. You do have this revised lower corner area with the different grille, but the problem is the zonk is this is non-functional. So it looks cool, but just doesn't do anything. That's a zonk. What does function are those LED fog lamps. And you'll see how they angled that gloss black area. And that's, remember, one of the biggest differences is that if you look at an A-Spec compared to a non-A-Spec MDX, you don't have as much gloss black. And if you compare this to the Type S, which is the performance version, all of that is functional. Now, as we come across the new grille, if you'll notice, it doesn't have a frame around it. It's all body color. And then you have your grille that's been dropped in, that lace crisscross design, forward-facing camera on an A-Spec, nice large Acura badge that Flava Flav would hang around his neck. And then working our way down, you have functional grille on the bottom portion to help bring in cool air. And I like the way that they kept the lip body color. I feel like if this was gloss black, it would be just too much. Now, if you compare this to the front end of the CX-90, the CX-90 has taken a little bit different route. It almost looks like what you would think a BMW would look like. So let me know in the comment section, do you like the sportiness of the Acura, or do you like the look of the CX-90? But I think one of my favorite things that sets off the front of the vehicle is how the grille no longer has a perimeter to it. It's nicely sunken in. Now, as we rise up, hood is going to be exactly the same, and you have those clean, crisp body lines. We go around the bend, we got some new wheels to show off. And on the A-Spec, normally you would have, of course, the shark gray wheels, but we have that Berlinetta black V-spoke design. I think it really hits perfectly on the modern and sporty. Let me know how you feel about the wheel compared to what Mazda brings. And if you haven't seen my CX-90 review, I'll leave it at the end of this one. Now, the wheel's a 20-inch wheel in diameter. Tires, all four corners are 255 in the width with a 50 series sidewall. And one of my big zonks that I'm gonna have to give it, flat black around the fender opening. What? Flat black around the fender opening on an A-Spec? This should be Apex Blue all day long. Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Now, of course, with it being an A-Spec, it does have a little bit sportier tune on the suspension, but no extra horsepower over a normal MDX. Now, coming down the side, I love that classic Japanese style, how we do the badging with the A-Spec. You do have gloss black on the mirror caps, your LED turn signals, and then you do have 360-degree cameras, which are really nice. Now, from the side, it's a little bit tidier, smaller than a Mazda CX-90, but like I said, still has that three-row flexibility. You have your gloss black roof rails, gloss black around the window treatment because this is an A-Spec, and then a little bit of gloss black, but like I said, then they went ahead and brought flat black, which doesn't make sense to me on this trim. Working our way towards the rear, I've always liked the shape and the body lines that bring us into the rear pillar, down into the quarter panel, and then as we spin around the back, just like we have a refreshed front end, you also have a refreshed rear end as well. Great job on the taillights, your A-Spec badge, a little bit of gloss black, stubby roof spoiler. I feel like the spoilers on these should extend back. Still looks better than the spoiler on the CX-90. The CX-90, the spoiler is like not even existent. Both of them have exposed wipers, so I'm gonna leave it alone on this one. But you know how I feel about these exposed wipers. As we work our way down, these exhausts, why on the A-Spec are we running the same exhaust as on the standard MDX? They fit the bumper design well, the lower bumper design opening. It's just they don't look very exciting. I would like some sportiness. They look like a vacuum cleaner or like an HDMI port or something. So let me know how you feel about it. I still like it better than the CX-90. You know why? Because the CX-90, the exhaust is tucked underneath the rear bumper and you don't get to see anything. And then just like we had around the fender opening, you do have some flat black on the lower bumper area. And of course we have that super handling all-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our Acura. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Now, what's interesting is both the Mazda CX-90 and the Acura MDX both have 6-cylinder engines, but that's the only comparison. Under the hood of the MDX A-Spec is a V6. Tasteful engine cover. I like the way they changed up the engine cover a little bit, put the Acura badge on it. But what are we actually looking at? It's a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, 290 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.4 seconds. Top speed is governed to 112 miles per hour. MPGs 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds with the MDX, and the vehicle weighs right around 4,510 pounds. Now, what's interesting to remember is that with the CX-90, you also have a 6-cylinder. The big difference is it's an inline 6 and it has a turbocharged engine, which gives it more horsepower than this MDX A-Spec. The other thing about the CX-90 is that it's rear-wheel drive based, not front-wheel drive based, which is what the MDX is based. It's based off of front-wheel drive, but both of them have all-wheel drive, and when you go Acura, you're getting that super handling all-wheel drive and a 10-speed automatic compared to the Mazda's 8-speed automatic. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this A-Spec and hear what kind of sound it makes. All right, guys, we are inside this Apex Blue 2025 Acura MDX A-Spec. Technically, if you want to be technical, it's the A-Spec Advanced. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I have the first gen MDX. It has over 350,000 miles. I love it, but it's time to move on, and I want some new technology, and I heard that Acura has some new technology. How much is this MDX? Very good question. This being an A-Spec. So let me break it down. Let's back it up a little bit. So when it comes to pricing, that was me going in reverse, by the way, if you're wondering what the heck was going on. But starting price for an MDX, starting price is $52,350. This being an A-Spec Advanced has an MSRP of $69,000. Yes, I'm glad you were sitting down as well. But why don't we go ahead, let's see how it stacks up to the mighty Mazda CX-90. To the door panels, love the two-tone. So you got the soft touch material, dark material up top. That's real metal trim with the ambient lighting in it. You have 3 memory seat settings for both passenger and driver. And we have the new Bang & Olufsen sound system with tons of speakers in here. And I love the red. The red with the black really pops. Door pocket is a good enough size to where you'll be able to get 4 In-N-Out burgers couple double doubles in there, and a large chocolate shake to wash it down. Going from the door panel to the dash, you're going to be blinded by some gloss black. And when I say some, it's actually quite a bit. I mean, and the fingerprints are just ridiculous. You're going to look like the FBI came in and dusted for fingerprints. That's how many fingerprints are going to be all over this thing. Love the red stitching though, the real metal trim. And then you'll notice how the dark stitching on the red. You do have a 12-volt easy access. And then all new for 2025 is the 12.3-inch infotainment system. Unlike the Mazda CX-90, this is full touchscreen. It is touchscreen when you don't use Apple CarPlay, and it's touchscreen when you do. The CX-90, remember, is only touchscreen when you're using wireless Apple CarPlay. But this has the whole suite of Google Assistants, Google Maps, all that good stuff. It's actually 3 inches closer to the driver and the passenger for easy access. And then you also have that camera watch system with the nice resolution cameras, which look spectacular. Now working our way down, you have a start-stop button, nice silver, dual climate control. You got your dynamic mode selector knob, and then you do have ventilated seats and heated seats and massage seats because we're advanced. 10-speed automatic, those are your controls. I hate the gloss black, that's a zonk. USB-C, USB-A, real volume knob. Here is your standard Acura key fob. Nice buttons on the back. Here's where you'll be able to put, I would say probably a Twix bar. You just put in there. And don't share your Twix with anybody. Twix is just for you. 2 cup holders, wireless charging for your gold iPhone 47. Love the soft red leather. And then you got the stitching. Open it up. You know what you'll be able to put there? Your class ring that you kept from your girlfriend in high school, in that picture that she wrote on the back, how much she loved you and how the two of you were going to spend your whole life together. Then she wound up dumping you just like that. And for some reason you still like the, even though your therapist told you to get rid of the ring, sell the ring and burn the picture, you still drive around with it there. It's kind of weird. It's time to let it go. And I remember the days when you would get your school photos. You remember those? And you would write something on the back and give them to your friends, almost like baseball cards. The good news is though, if you never had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you don't have to worry about that area because look, you got plenty of storage, 2 USB-Cs. This is where I would say you could probably fit about 4 VHS tapes. So let's talk about, hold on, let's talk about something here. So you're holding on to your girlfriend's ring from high school and a picture of her. Plus you have 4 VHS tapes of those spring break trips that you took with her, and you're driving around with them in your Acura MDX. I'm glad there's not more room for more of the stuff that you saved. Let it go. The best thing to do is throw that stuff out, set it on fire, run it over with your MDX with the super handling all-wheel drive, and then find somebody better. Or the best news is work on yourself, and then the right person will appear. I promise. I know from experience. Seats, the leather, the piping, the stitching, they're beautiful, they're red, they do a good job from Acura with the seats. You got all your seat controls down there, easy to get to, power for the passenger, power for the driver, and you have that panoramic sunroof with the power shade. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got an NSX steering wheel. Looks like it came out of an NSX. Second gen, of course, not first gen, second gen. Come on over here. I want to show you what's behind it in this MDX. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have a great pedal box. Probably one of my favorite pedal boxes in all of the automotive industry. Aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. We got our seat controls, easy to get to. And then you'll notice, like I said, that NSX-inspired steering wheel, flat black on all the switchgear. New for 2025, you hit this button, is the Acura Lane Watch system. It's semi-autonomous driving. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down the 10-speed automatic. And you do have a power tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Plus you have that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that actually changes when you go into the different modes. Very cool. You got a cornucopia of information that you could scroll through. And because this isn't advanced, it also has a HUD. What's a HUD? A head-up display. Well, why don't we go ahead, let's get in the mid-row and the third row, because I want to go for a spin in this MDX. Let's get to it. All right, guys, mid-row time, and this is where really the MDX shows its flexibility. As you can see, you can sit 3 across, but if you watch this magic trick that I'm about to perform, just keep your eyes on my hands. Turn it into captain's chairs just like that. So I like that flexibility, and you could also remove this center seat depending on what you're hauling. Love the way the mid-row has the same great material, the piping. The seats do slide and they do recline. You do have pockets on the back. This is where you could put your map to the stars. Just so you know, not many stars in San Diego. You gotta go to LA, gotta go to Hollywood. Love the command center with your AC controls, your AC vents. The big zonk is you just have heated seats, no ventilated seats. You do have a 12 volt, no home power source. It's like they tease you. They put this here, but there's no home power source. But you do get 2 USB-Cs, plenty of Bang & Olufsen speakers throughout this whole interior. And you have, look at that, the Peeper Creeper shade. So if you're here in San Diego like we are in this park and some weirdo's staring at you, you can just lift that up and they'll disappear from sight. I'm not gonna get in the third row because we did that with the Type S. I'll leave that review at the end of this one, but I'm gonna show you how easy it is to move the seat out of the way, and then you'll be able to climb into the third row. You do have USB-As, no air vents back there, and it is on the tighter side. I promise, and if you don't believe me, watch the MDX Type S review that I did here in San Diego as well. But let's get into the cargo area, because like I said, I'm jonesing to go for a drive. Let's get to it. All right, guys, time to get in the cargo area. Nice electric assist. What I like about the Acura over the CX-90 is, first of all, what's on the driver's side. You got a nice area there for a gallon of chocolate milk. And of course, where does chocolate milk come from? Brown cows. You do have your 12 volt, easily placed. And the other thing that I like about it is the storage. And I think that's something that Acura really touched on nicely, is just how much you could put down there. You could easily get, I would say, a 4-foot sub from Subway with extra cold cuts and put it in there for when you're at the beach. And then to put the seats down, it doesn't get any easier than this. I mean, watch how easy it is. First of all, it'd probably help, Steven, if you unbuckle the seat belts like you were supposed to. But watch this. There we go. Once I do Steven's job, easy peasy. You got your cup holders. Still not the best place I want to sit, but at least you got more storage and more space. And then the mid-row folds down. But why don't we go ahead? Since I had to do Steven's job, I'm not going to ask him to do my job, but we're going to go on throttle together. You, me, Steven, and the rest of San Diego in this MDX A-Spec. Let's hit the road. All right, guys, we are inside this Acura MDX A-Spec, and right away, you're gonna love the improvements that they made to the interior. I know everybody and their mother has been complaining about no touchscreen. Well, they brought it, and they brought it in a big way. 12.3-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and I like the way that they redesigned the center console area here. Really gives you a lot of room, and they were able to put a nice large wireless charger here, which is great. Going down the road, the new piece of technology is the Acura Lane Watch, and that allows you to have that hands-off semi-autonomous driving. So this isn't full autonomous driving like the Escalade with the Super Cruise, but like I said, it's a step above what Acura's had, and it really does make driving a little less stressful and taxing, because you can kind of rest your grip or just take your hands off the wheel altogether. And on the screen, the digital display, it actually tells you that the lines are green, and that green is good. That means the system is on and it's working. But going down the road, not a lot of vibration. They made the chassis more rigid, and just overall the driving dynamics has been improved across all the MDX trims. Another thing that I love is all the extra stitching that they brought for 2025. You would think something so simple, like you wouldn't even notice it. You really do, and it just helps with the premium feel of this Acura. And I think this is where, hands down, the interior just has an elevated feel in this car compared to the Mazda CX-90, but it isn't perfect. The gloss black is a little ridiculous. And the fact that, for example, the head-up display just has your speedometer in it. I wish I had a little bit more information, but nice to have the super handling all-wheel drive. And of course, the premium sounds of the Bang & Olufsen sound system is out of control. I thought the ELS studio system was good, but I really think this Bang & Olufsen system, the clarity is like the singer is right there in the vehicle with you. So very, very impressed. Of course, braking feedback is good. Steering feedback is excellent. And how the transmission behaves is very, very well done. But the fact that you do have the versatility of the 3 rows, although the CX-90 does have a little bit more passenger room, especially in that 3rd row, you're still getting a good amount of passenger volume in the mid row and up here up front. But just a really comfortable, sporty place to be, and the fact that it has the red interior, which really pops nicely with the blue, is spectacular. All right, guys, I'm gonna come to a stop real quick. Nobody behind us yet. We're gonna go on throttle. You ready? On throttle, here we go. I have the gauge showing the power going to all 4 corners, but really does a great job with that naturally aspirated V6. I think that's the one thing you're gonna like, is with the naturally aspirated V6, it's got that linear torque delivery. There is some delay with the turbocharged straight 6 in the Mazda CX-90. There is a little bit of boost lag, but with a naturally aspirated engine, it does pull smoothly through the whole rev range. And combined with the 10-speed automatic, I think really it's as good as peanut butter and jelly. It's a nice match between the two. One more time, on throttle, here we go. 10-speed drops down and we are off. So the good news is you're not getting a bunch of fake noise piped in. You can actually hear the V6 doing its thing. It is a little on the louder side, but only when you go full on throttle. Other than that, I think you're going to enjoy the driving aspect and the driving dynamic. I'm really torn because I think the CX-90 does drive a little bit more engaging, more sporty, just because of that rear-wheel drive platform compared to the platform that we have with the Acura. But hopefully this has been a good overall review of what this vehicle's bringing for 2025. We're going to get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in an A-Spec second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways. Definitely want to thank Acura for having us out to San Diego for the first drive. Let me know in the comment section, do you prefer this MDX A-Spec, or do you prefer spending your money on a Mazda CX-90? Very curious to see what you have to say down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. You need to give it up to Stephen Flood. This is like his 4th time traveling out to San Diego with Raised Rides to capture all of the cinematography on film, and he still cannot get that sunset photo that he wants so badly with his special Canon rig setup when it comes to his photography. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe, Steven, tonight is your lucky night. We'll find out. But give Steven some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.